Hi everyone. So as we draw toward the end of our Unit 2, we are going to do a 2-day project, but we're going to roll it out in one lesson and then you'll work on it on your own. Okay, so we still have there may be still a few unanswered questions, and that's okay. It's good to always want to know more, and thankfully we have the internet available to help us answer those questions. Or at least that's what we might think, but access to the internet is not always guaranteed. And today we're going to start a project where you are going to consider a dilemma related to internet access. We're going to pretend that we are the Chief Technology Officer, which is a real title, the Chief Technology Advisor or Officer for a candidate running for elected office. Pretend it's either maybe Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Your candidate is relying on you to help inform him or her about important technological dilemmas and come up with good policy ideas to address them. And for this project, you'll investigate a social dilemma related to the internet and prepare a report summarizing your findings and making a policy recommendation for your candidate. We'll take a look at the 3 different types of dilemmas, which are net neutrality, internet censorship, and the digital divide. Okay, and let's just go to the project page. I'm going to bring this down so you can see it here. Okay, so we have net neutrality, internet censorship, and the digital divide. And you're going to pick one of these, and I want you to read these over on your own. These are also this document lives within Code Studio if the video goes too fast for you. Okay, and you're going to read over the first page of this project guide. You're going to pick which dilemma you want to investigate, and then you'll let me know which one you're working on. And then if you go down, right, and there are sources that you can use as jumping off points. You can move beyond these sources, but this isn't meant to be a very deep dive. Okay, so review the 1-page rubric, and I will put the 1-page rubric up in a minute. So the 1-page rubric is at the end of this, and this is the rubric. Completed research guide demonstrates use of multiple sources, and this is extensive evidence would be that your research guide indicates referencing 3 or more sources provided and provided are referenced. Convincing evidence, all 3 provided sources are referenced. Only 1 or 2 sources are referenced, etc. Interests, benefits, and harms of all impacted groups are clearly explained. Interests, benefits, and harms for all groups, including possible additional groups beyond the required 3, are provided. That would be full credit. Technical details reflect an accurate and detailed understanding of the internet. Extensive technical details are provided demonstrating broad understanding of how the internet works. So you're not going to just tell me what the problem is from an end user perspective, but what are the technical ways that this problem came about? And then a clear policy recommendation is provided. You would be providing it that is justifiable based on the other information on the 1-pager. So to get full credit here, the policy recommendation is justifiable and clear based on information in both other sections of the 1-pager. So once you talk about the technical ends of it, and then the harms and benefits, when you consider both of those, what's your new policy? From both a logistical, administrative, and maybe even protocol end of the internet kind of functioning to how this impacts real people. And then reasonable benefits and harms of the policy choice on different impacted groups are provided. So now once you've made your policy recommendation, you're now going to talk about the policy that you're recommending and what you believe are the benefits of that policy and the harms. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, so you have net neutrality, internet censorship, and the digital divide. And you will take this time to read over what each one is and then select one. Now if we go back to the project guide, so this is page 1 that talks about each one of these dilemmas. Page 2 is where you're going to write your source, notes on impacted groups, notes on technical details, okay, for each source. Let's read here. This concept bank includes key terms, so this right here for step 3, just so that we don't skip over, we already looked at the rubric. Step 3, this concept bank includes the key terms and concepts covered in the unit. Quickly review them before reading your article so you'll be ready to identify them in your articles. You can also refer to these as you complete your one-pager. So protocols, the physical internet, the IP, the TCP, the UDP, the HTTP, and the DNS. Networks, fiber optic cable, copper wire, Wi-Fi, router, path, direct connection bandwidth. Packets, packet metadata, IP addresses, and dynamic routing. And if we haven't covered these all explicitly, look them up. World Wide Web, web pages, browsers, servers, domain, and World Wide Web. Internet principles, redundancy, fault tolerance, scalability, and open protocols. So this is for note taking. And then here's your one pager. So right here, you can use this. I'm really fine with you using this. And let's just, so that you're clear of what it is that you're submitting, you're just going to submit this entire thing. You don't have to take out this page and make it separate from everything else. This is fine for you to just submit this entire thing, but this is where you're going to be writing, and this is what I'm going to be looking at. I will look at your notes from here to see that you've taken good notes on your sources, but this is really what's graded. Okay, so I think this is page 3. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so to complete this one pager, fill in each of the sections below. All text in italics is included to explain how to fill in the one pager and can be deleted before you submit. I'm going to ask you to do that. You'll delete all italicized writing. Core question, copy and paste this directly from your dilemma above. So you are going to find the core question above, which is here. And each core question will be different depending on which dilemma you're choosing. So you're literally just copying the core question and pasting it here. Impacted groups. Fill in the table below with your impacted groups. Who's affected? You may optionally add new groups or split one of the ones assigned into smaller subgroups if it will help better explain who's involved in the dilemma. So impacted group 1, you can create bullet points. Write the name of the group and provide a brief description, examples of who they are. Same thing for group 2, same thing for group 3. And for each group, and you could take out all of this italicized writing. And then over here, you're talking about group 1, whoever they might be. What are the interests? Explain the interests of this group as well as the ways that they could benefit or be harmed because of the dilemma. And this can also be bullet points. Technical background. Again, after you read this, all of these italicized words can come out. I wouldn't delete them until you're completely done. I would have that be your last step. Explain the technical background necessary to understand the problem. Include background on layers, protocols, principles of the internet necessary to understand the dilemma. Use the concept bank on the first page to help brainstorm ideas to include, right? You're going to want to show that you understand what the protocols are and that you understand kind of the workings of the internet and how these dilemmas really exist from a technical perspective. You're going to make sure your descriptions are approachable for the candidate. So you're literally sitting down with either, it doesn't have to be Joe Biden or Donald Trump, but we can pretend, right? How would you explain this to them from a technical perspective? How do you explain this to a layperson? And you could have this in bullet points as well. But this part is you're giving a recommendation for what policy or solution your candidate should advocate for. Your solution could be a law that should be passed or repealed, a government policy, or a technical solution your candidate should promote. The policy will go here. At most, 2 sentences. You're not writing a lot. It has to be very succinct. Who will benefit from your policy? Who will be harmed by your policy? So really, your assignment just exists on this page. Okay, and that's it. Email me with any questions.